Hello,
What did it ever do to you?
Oh, you're in a mood, aren't you, today?
What do you mean today?
Hello, everybody. We're just kind of getting going. Seemed a good day of questing in before switching to the buns tonight. This is kind of catch as catch can, so we're catching. I suppose we need to talk the living way again.
Well, there's a couple of things that need doing.
And those are?
Starting ops.
Yeah, that would be good. Today has been okay so far. Kind of quiet, kind of lazy, kind of boring. Appreciate those boring days, you know? I did spend some time last night. I got Pally to 81. That was a lot of Mount Golgs, because I didn't feel like dealing with the roulette queues. And then I got Warrior to 83? Almost 84? Yeah, 83. And maybe has one more run to hit 84. Dragoon is still my highest at 85. And I plan to keep it that way.
Okay. Mostly set.
Okie dokie. Hello, Living Way, you absolutely adorable little lollop.
Check with Mapping Way if it's not too late.
Oh dear, I certainly hope Building Way can complete the renovations before more guests arrive. Or perhaps he should leave them as they are. That way, you'd have more space to lounge about. Well, maybe, but don't change all of them because dragons are kind of big. Or can be kind of big. Also, I assume we are not leaving behind any of the shards? Because if we're leaving behind any of the shards, that's no good either.
It'd be a little hard to do something about them, though.
Yeah, I know.
Considering what it took to get one person across.
Actually, 2 people.
Yeah, well.
3 if you include Taylor.
My retainers don't count.
Hey! I am not your retainer!
A taste of the moon. With final days fast approaching, Living Way is keen to complete her preparations.
Right then, now that you're here, we'll need to teach you... now that you're here, we need you to teach us all you can about your people, and quickly. It won't be long before the final days are upon us all, and all their terrible grandeur, so it's imperative that we prepare to receive our passengers to be. If there's anything at all, that may displease them, it must be addressed post-haste. And address it we shall. Here at Bestway's Burrow, we have assembled everything required to offer our guests the best way forward. Ahem. We have produced myriad amenities we should understand to be essential for the day-to-day living and wish to hear your opinions of them.
Oh dear.
I'm sure you've all worked up an appetite, so why don't we start with foodstuffs? Meet me at the Caratorium, and we'll see about filling your bellies. Caratorium!
I have a bad feeling about this.
She does not want for enthusiasm. The notion of Athrea's rotting to its core being a matter of course is rather concerning, though. Nevertheless, let's take this opportunity opportunity to learn more of the lower pets in this vessel. Laparops. Ah. I can read words. They be fancy things, yes. Okay, same as before. The Caratorium.
I was wondering how you guys were going to react to that.
Caratorium. This
I
place
am
is...
concerned. Urza seems enthusiastic for it, though.
Oh?
Well, you know how they are with all their veggies.
This is true. Watch your fingers, they'll take them clean off. Okay, is that down below?
Yes.
Must be. Meh. Where's the gate up? Oh, we could just drop to our imminent doom.
Poor Urza gets so abused.
Yes, she does. The moon sail. I like how they presented things to us and we know nothing about it, but because how do I want to put it? Because we live in a modern time, we're like, oh, you're talking about orbital physics! And I'm like, wait, our characters would have no clue what orbital physics were any iota.
Yeah, well.
Ah, there's where we want. Unless, of course, we just want to drop to our doom. But I don't think Urza's up for that.
No.
You'd think with such a blank, empty area, it wouldn't be this easy to get lost. I heard that. Did you not get enough sleep last night?
Probably.
Oh dear. Okay, where is this Caratorium?
As opposed to that Caratorium?
Well, they're gonna have to have some sort of garden nursery. Hello, Foxfire.
Hey, Foxfire.
Okay, then.
This place is freaking huge! I know it's supposed to house an entire population, but still.
Well, it is the interior of an entire moon, or a corner of it.
Hopping way.
I'm finding the multicolor aetheryte in the distance interesting.
I'm delighted to see you, and I'm very, very, very busy. Perhaps we could chat another time.
Perhaps.
Yawning way?
What food do you think mankind likes? Oh, excellent question.
Oh, I must have
Oh,
dozed
carrots,
off.
surely.
What was it you were supposed to be doing again? Yeah, you're really on the ball. Excuse me. They've got little rabbit robots who are actually
Aggressive.
aggressive.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's disturbing. Caretaker.
We need to go this way. Cooking way. Who's currently hiding in some
Yes.
sexy cat boy's skirt. Right! You're a lot smaller than we expected, but I trust you still have large appetites, yes?
Maybe.
Shdola. Given their earlier confusion regarding our size, I cannot help but wonder if they even know the first thing about us.
Not really.
Thancred.
Am I the only one who suspects we're not going to find anything edible whatsoever?
I wouldn't discount it. That's Bando.
Hast thou spied the peculiar sentinels patrolling the vicinity? Approach them with caution, or better yet, not at all, for they make no distinction between friend or foe.
Right.
Really, guys, what is up with that?
Welcome to the Curatorium! Here we create prototypes of various sundries required by our soon-to-be passengers. Allow me to introduce our head foodstuff production. Cooking Way! Pleasure to meet you all. Our work has involved no small amount of trial and error, but after many cycles of painstaking labor, I dare say we have created the finest cuisines our guests could ask for. I've learned all about the essential nutrients for a healthy, balanced diet from the reference materials we received. Why, I particularly award the words of those invaluable pages. Naturally, we're all considered ease of growth and production. We will not want for ingredients. I must insist you try some. We have fresh stock recently prepared on account of, because we just woke up, and we all and we're all quite famished. Hop along to the platforms here, and you'll find storage unit full, bursting to delectable delights. Help yourself to anything you like.
Carrots all the way down.
Am I going to suddenly be in want of pickled jelly worms from Amarang?
Let's hope it doesn't get that bad.
Wrigglers, that's what they were called. Jellied wrigglers.
Yes.
Living way.
Let's hope it doesn't get that bad.
I'm eager to hear what you think of our work. I'm sure there's some small room for improvement, but I'm confident you'll be satisfied. One serving's never enough. You'll be back to ask for seconds and thirds. I'm sure of it. We'll see. I'm here with great trepidation. Yeah, we're gonna need to work something on your size scale. I have no problems, but I have the knees of a dragoon, so...
Ow.
Yeah, they're all carrots.
Well, here's a conundrum. Which carrots should we start with? I vote philosopher's carrots. They'll keep us something. No, iron carrots first. We won't get far without bulging thews.
Blasting way. This doesn't require a debate. We have work to do, so quit dragging your feet and get to it. They're all carrots.
You open the storage unit and find a rainbow-colored assortment of carrots. Which carrot will you choose? The unassuming orange carrot, the peculiar-looking blue carrot, the vibrant yellow carrot, the ominous crimson carrot. Take a moment to reconsider.
I reconsidered it and dumped me out of menu.
Of course.
I'm going for the unassuming orange carrot.
It seems like a safe place to start. From front to tip, no scratches or blemishes mar this immaculate specimen. Nevertheless, if not for its excessive length and girth, one might think it was an ordinary carrot. Are you certain you wish to eat this carrot?
Yes. Gonna have to eat something.
On second thought, you elect simply to take an obscenely large carrot for now. Due to its bizarre qualities, it would be prudent to ask Cooking Way whether it's safe to eat first. No, that is not the prudent thing to do. The prudent thing is to go take it to someone that's not a Lapollet and ask them.
Yes.
Show Cooking Way the obscenely large carrot.
Yes. But yeah, these stairs are not made for a reason. These stairs are made for ancients, and we barely come up to their knees.
Hey,
I
Douglas.
suddenly know what a Lalafell feels like.
Yeah, I was meaning to mention be interesting to see once they see what they say about a Lalafell.
So, did any of our selections set your mouth watering? An obscenely large carrot.
Even Vieira are like to swoon at the sight of so grand a carrot. That or be offended by all those who assume that they would.
Right. Yes, a fine choice. One of my personal favorites, actually. Please dig in. I'm eager to hear what you think. Eat the
obscenely large carrot. Great trepidation, you take a bite out of the carrot. There is a satisfying crunch as you sink your teeth into the orange skin, and a warm tingling sensation runs down your spine. With the second bite, a wave of euphoria washes over you, and you drown in bliss. Alas, as you finish, the elation fades, leaving you with a desperate craving for another carrot.
Carrot of happiness. You find yourself in an unusually good mood. We actually get a buff. I just been craving to eat more
You find
carrots.
yourself in an unusually good mood with a sudden craving to eat more carrots. Lovely.
I actually prefer baby carrots, but to each their own. What do you think? Unlike anything you've ever tasted, yes? The carrot of happiness is full to bursting with nutrients and guaranteed to leave you feeling satisfied. It's a staple among us Lilliputians. Laports.
Laports.
Well, Laports. That's the official, This is not the first time Laports have been in the game. We have plenty of other varieties, too. Bleeding carrots to improve blood flow, dream carrots to help with sleep. So, you see, we have a carrot for every occasion. You're gonna need more than just carrots. I can see it. I can see a demand for this in Charlian. Yes! Yes!
Yeah, I can certainly see a demand for this in Charlian.
Charlian?
I mean, the land of the Archon Loaf should go gaga over this.
Definitely. What in blazes is that? I was fearing they would feed us something akin to the Archon Loaf. I take it you too had a wide assortment of carrots to choose and not else. Yep, it was carrots all the way down. If I may ask, what exactly do the collaborators share with you about cuisine on Aetherius? Surely you're aware we have abundance of dishes and foods you could emulate. But of course we are. But, well, it was only quite recently that we established contact. Even holding a conversation was a struggle at first, so imagine our surprise when they sent us a mountain of books and documents with no clear instructions.
Oh yeah, they made contact with Rylea.
Yes! The sheer amount of information was overwhelming. If it wasn't for the encyclopedia I found, we would have been at a loss where to begin. So we decided, rather than divide our resources to prepare for a variety of middling and potentially unsatisfying meals, it would be more efficient to devote our production to a single perfect food.
That's all well and good, but man cannot live on raw carrots alone. Have you considered cooking them?
You mean steaming, boiling, roasting, and the like? Well, I suppose we could prepare the carrots in other ways. But our primary concern was efficiency, and what's more efficient than sinking your teeth into a carrots fresh from the production?
Yeah. A rather strange approach to take for one named Cooking Way, isn't it?
Well, technically speaking, Cooking Way isn't my given name. When first created, we were all named in the old tongue, you know? And that otherwise imperceptible parlance of the Watcher speaks. After we received a great tomes of words, a dictionary, that is, from your collaborators, we learned your language, adverbs, gun runs, present...
Garrons.
Don't know Garrons. And here I thought
It's been 35 years.
I thought I actually did really well in English. Adverbs, gerunds, present continuous verb conjugations, just the basics. Present continuous verb conjugations is not the basics. I'm sorry. Then we found the term related to our given tasks and used them to form new names. Aren't they helpful?
Quite. No, not really. But it does explain a great deal. Wherefore didst thy kind deem such a change necessary?
When the rest of your people arrive, we want to be certain they understand immediately what each of us does. You'd never be able to pronounce our original names anyway.
This is true. I see.
I hope our critiques, such as they were helpful to you.
We haven't even gotten into the critiques yet.
Though if you should decide to preserve flora and fauna from Aetherius as well, you'd be able to offer the passengers a more balanced diet. Until such day, one I pray comes sooner than later, I would pray that this is not but carrots on the menu. Purple carrot juice.
A hearty and healthful beverage prepared from the pulp of purple carrots and pixie apples.
Ishtala.
The culture gap is mighty.
Well, I'm sure Loporits would hop at the chance to expound upon carrots and their exhaustive details. Perhaps it's time we moved on.
Perhaps.
Thancred?
I hate to admit it, but I did rather like the carrots.
They were full of happiness. Yeah, they've been in contact with Charlie, and at least the carrot was actually, delicious, unlike Archon Loaf.
Yes.
Hungry for more carrots? Fear not. You can eat your heart's content after you've seen the rest of Best Burrow's Way. Or Best Way's Burrow.
Styled a hero. Living Way is eager to show you more of the moon's wonders.
I think we've had our fill of carrots for now. Let's move on to other necessities, shall we? Our clothing production is sure to impress. This way! Are we suddenly going to get a round of Loperate clothing, kind of like the way we got a round of Dwarven clothing last expansion? Beard and all?
Well, I note that they're starting to offer level 84 item chests.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are.
How do we get out of here? I'm just kind of following the marker. Oh my god, there's a fate in the middle of all this.
Yep. Scrapping the scrappers. Just started.
Well, we need the fates, so...
Yes.
By the way, Rift, get here.
Come on, Boko. I hear there's carrots here.
Man, they're coming in thick and hard. Fortunately, I think the hunt train's moved on.
That would be good.
Oh god, the music!
Can't quite make it out.
It's the original fight music from 4.
Yep.
Oh no. I'm gonna have to play 4, aren't I?
But it is very soft, you're correct on that.
Bye guys, don't forget to write.
Well, that's one down.
Yep, 5 to go.
We never did finish the last zone.
Don't think so, no.
There we go. Sacred.
It's hardly sunsilk tapestries, but perhaps we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Do you suppose the clothes they prepared will be grossly oversized as the carrots? It is not an indistinct possibility.
Garments born of the heavens, crafted with methods ancient and forgotten. Dress befitting we who walk in shade, stewards of the esoteric.
We shall see. I fear they're going to be little, Loperate costumes. Here we are, the Apparel production station. We've chosen to employ more traditional methods for this task. Creation magics! Heidelin
Yeah,
and her
that's traditional.
Heidelin, in her infinite wisdom, blessed us with the self-same affinity for magic her pupil possessed. We have other amazing talents, of course, and you know you're dying to hear about them, but I will regale you with details another time. That said, we did run into a spot of trouble at first. Our magics alone was not sufficient to see our work done. In the end, we discovered crystallized aether is a wonderful catalyst that can help provide us with the extra vias we need. My, how resourceful. Ah, the sweet sound of recognition. You will also be impressed to hear that we've read all about your habits of changing attire to match your chosen profession. For the sake of efficiency, I presume, this has also been taken into account with our designs. But why take my word for it when you can simply try on our clothes? Make yourselves known to the workers and they will see to the rest.
Yeah.
Why am I being very intrepidatious about this?
Because thou art wise.
Okay, Urza, you can do this. Warm up those tail feathers. Really? Come on, Urza, you can do it. You can do it, girl. Just like a jumping puzzle. Restless Loperate. Ah, it's you, one of the visitors from Asteria. Goodness me, Mapping Way wasn't kidding. You really are smaller than the Watcher. Oh, right. Here, try this set of clothes on, yes? What would you have me fashion for you today? Oh dear.
I'm going to go for the dangerous one. A fashionable and refined ensemble.
Something simple yet functional. Simple and functional, right?
Fashionable. Right.
Aha, this will only take a moment. And what do we get?
Really?
Oh dear God! It's the same outfit.
Of course it is.
And it... How do I want to say this? I've been dressed like a blind clown in the dark again, haven't I? There. We're all finished.
Just because I'm small and you think I'm a child doesn't mean I'm level 10.
A perfect fit, if I do say so of myself. Nothing billowy or frilly, as you can see. Also light and durable. Sure will serve you well in your travels. You might take you.
Fine.
You have a different line?
Yeah. It was pretty much the same until now.
Uh-huh. Well, go on.
Oh. I'll be honest, I know nothing of fashion, let alone fashion on Aetherius. But I'd wager no one down there has ever worn anything like this fine ensemble. Perhaps you can start a new trend.
That's one way of putting it.
Would you look at that? Speechless! And here I thought you may not like it.
That was the same.
Okay.
But we'll move on.
Because
If you're in mind to try something else, why not speak with my fellow artisans? I'm sure they'd be happy to oblige.
You must continue wearing these garments in order to progress.
Oh, gods.
You will change back to your normal garments if you move too far away. Look to your map for the garment change areas of effect. Speak with the restless Loperate to restore or prolong the garment change.
Oh, gods.
Yeah, we're stuck like this for half an hour.
You know how I take my fashion seriously. Why? Why?
Finiel, this is not.
Yeah, no. No. And we shan't be caught dead in the guild like this. We'd never hear the end of it.
No.
Hello, jubilant Loperate. No one said you'd be coming, how can I help you? You wish to try my clothes? Really? Please. Hopefully it's better than this. Of course, it would be my honor. What did you have in mind?
Surprise me.
Yeah, surprise me. I'll go with that one. I think I can handle that. Let's see. This should do.
Uh-oh. Tay, you okay?
Oh, disconnected again.
This is only slightly better. I still look like a blind clown dressed me in the dark.
Yeah, well.
Some of my best work yet. It's a relatively new concept incorporating ideas that's never been tried with clothing before.
Oh.
Fragrance! Can you smell the carrots? Simply divine. I was worried how the concept would turn out when they put it to the proof, but it looks stunning on you. Won't you go and show Living Way? I'm sure she's eager to see what we've come up with.
The same warnings. Wow.
These rabbits need help.
These rabbits are the help. That's the problem.
I know. I know. Don't remind me. Stunning, more like stunned. They mean well. They're trying to help.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Living Way, we need to have a talk. Seriously. A real
I don't know if
talk.
we have enough time for this talk.
Why, don't we look splendid? No, we do not. The result of much trial and error, but I know quality work when I see it. Shh, you needn't speak. I can see your adoration from the moon. Or, I can see your adoration for the moon and whale Loperets in your eyes. Or, Loperets in your eyes. No doubt your friends feel the same having sampled our creations. Oh gods, they didn't.
Oh, yeah. This should be good. Oh. 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 kept you waiting.
They insisted we sample all their concepts ere we return.
Verily, 'tis an ensemble most becoming.
No, Urianger, what's it with you and gunny sacks?
Never mind the cut, I'm more concerned about the color. Oh. I think it's past time we return these clothes.
I agree. I was so confident our garments would meet with your approval. Wherever did we go wrong? The Watcher taught us that in his time everyone wore the same robes. To do otherwise was against social etiquette. We thought we could appeal to modern taste by tailoring the robes to specific professions, but... Please, you mustn't be so hard on yourself. Should we resort to evacuating the people of Atreus, it would most certainly be need of your attire. 'Tis clear you spared no effort in addressing our needs, but you must understand that we are not quite so... homunculus. Homogeneous?
Homogeneous.
Homogeneous, okay. Bah. English, fail me! Speaking of myself, what I wear now better suits my taste, even if it is in an inferior make. There are others whose choices may be influenced by tradition or personal experience. Rather than make assumptions of the whole, you must consider their individual and their potential preferences. I fear we've underestimated the complexity and diversity of your people. Even if we memorized every tome we received, I doubt we'd fare much better. Maybe we're doing you a disservice trying to shower you with our baubles and flippery, thinking it was for your benefit when you'd know better off on your own.
There are some who might agree. People who prefer to keep others at arm's length, even when they know they shouldn't. As one such former fool, I'd like to ask you a question. This plan to evacuate and escape the final days, did it account for the reflections of the source as well?
Thank you, Thancred. Not that I'm aware of. We were born of Heidelin's love for Atreus and the salvation of the people on the star, and that star alone has ever been our aim. Surely it's better to devote ourselves to saving one who the world to divide our attention across 14 and risk failing them all?
I suppose you're right.
Living Way, might we leave to explore Bestway's burrows unattended? You have given us much to think about. Why, certainly. Until later, then.
If I may, I should like to accompany thee a while longer.
Really? I mean, you're more than welcome to. There was actually something I wished to speak to you about. Let's be off then, shall we?
I think Urianger is beginning to suspect where the books came from.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Cold.
It's not really good to be dealing with.
No.
We've got a fishing Laropet here. Loprat. My apologies. I wasn't trying to spy or anything. Everyone's been talking about the visitors from Athreus, and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. I was excited at first, but now I'm worried. What if the people of Athreus refuse to come? What if we can't save them? It's clear we've made a mess of things. Oh, but wait, you still haven't visited the domiciles. Once you see them, you'll understand how wonderful the moon truly is. I'm sure of it. I'll be waiting for you by the teleporter near the entrance. Oh, and the name's Growing Way, by the way. See you soon.
Have they considered that what they might need is to visit Aetheris?
Mm-hmm. But there's a teleporter here somewhere.
Hmm.
She said meet them by the teleporter.
The Aetherite.
And this is the reason why you don't let scholars be your ambassadors.
Yeah, we've seen this one come a mile away. At least the carrot was actually delicious.
It was happy. Taste inspection complete. Status delicious. Visual inspection complete. Status crystal clear. Scent inspection complete. Status bracing.
I've been watching you, and it looks like you could use some extra vim and vigor. Can I interest you in an iron carrot?
How literal is iron?
Hopping way.
Yes.
I'm delighted to see you, but I'm very, very busy. Perhaps we could chat another time. Right. We've talked to her before.
Yep.
Her, them.
Something. Oh, that was wrong.
Oh, have we talked to Nothing Way? I think we have.
We did yesterday.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Eh? You said
Nope,
hope.
not getting any balloons. There's
Ah.
a little skit of the third one coming to join the first two there, and I was wondering if they were about to talk.
Ah, down there. Hello, Growing Way. What do we got? You're here. You're really here. Oh, thank you so much. What should I call you? I'm Thayrin. This is my sister Rylea. Thayrin Vexa and Rylea Sarnath. Eh? Crikey, even your names are amazing. Well, Thayrin, we'll be using this teleporter to enter the residential area. Whenever you're ready. Yeah, sure.
This is a teleporter.
Ready in the teleporter.
Oh, we do have different genders of lovers.
Yeah. Good luck telling them apart.
That means Growing Way is yours.
Yeah, well.
Just like Lalafels.
No, much worse than Lalafels.
Huh? Access Just a living quarters restricted due to reconstruction. Then where is it? Oh no!
Oh, wait, where did you send us?
A private audience, as thou didst request, for reasons I know not.
Oh, dear.
Just a precaution. I'd rather I didn't have to ask the question at all, but I take my responsibilities very, very seriously. Do you and your friends, by any chance, find our accommodation wanting? Be honest, brutally even.
'Twould be ungracious of me to belittle the efforts of thee and thine.
Lovely sentiment, really, but the disappointment is writ plain on your comrades' faces. It's all the more frustrating since no one will come out and say what they find wanting. If there are faults in our work, we need to know. We can, we will do better. But time is not on our side. The final days will wait for no one. If your people are to be saved, we must take quick and decisive action. This vessel must serve as a home for as many passengers as possible, for far longer than we may like. Which brings me to my request. Our collaborators on Atheris are doing what they can to prepare for the voyage. Would you be willing to go and lend them a hand? Having seen the moon for yourself, you could speak to its many splendors, learn what else they might require, and assuage whatever concerns they have.
Wherefore wouldst thou entrust me with such a task?
How to put it? You're the only one who appears not to be wholly unsatisfied with our work. Oh, quite good at pretending that's the case, at least. Calm, collected, tactful to a fault. Very particular with your words, too. You understand that, in the face of great danger, one cannot pursue perfection at the expense of practicality. The difficult choices must often be made for the greater good.
And so fate doth conspire to set my feet upon this path once more.
Come again?
Ah, idle musings. 'Tis no trifle thou dost ask, yet full well do I understand the urgency and necessity.
Oh, dear me!
Oh, dear.
Dear me! I was terribly sorry for the mix-up. It's a bit of a malfunction. I hadn't realized the residential quarters were inaccessible, you see.
Yeah.
But you're still in one piece. So, all's well that ends well, yes? Won't happen again. I promise.
Poor husbando's trying to carry the load all by himself again. Throwing away your timing needs help.
Gosh, that was embarrassing. I promise to be more careful from now on. Since the residential quarters are closed for now, I've rerouted the teleporter to allow travel between floors instead. Hopefully it proves useful in the meantime. It's a shame you couldn't see it, though. You really would have liked it.
It's okay. We'll see it when the construction's complete, okay?
You can now travel between the upper and lower floors of Bestway's burrow via the teleporter. All's veil that ends veil. Growingway is keen to put his recent mishap behind him. It may not seem like it, but we've been planning this for far longer than I'd care to admit. Each time we woke up, we'd have long discussions about how to serve as many of you as we can. Felt like everyone had an opinion on this or that. But the one thing we all agreed upon was that the people of Aetheris wouldn't take action to save themselves until it was far too late. That's why we're striving to make the moon a vibrant, magical place they'd hop at the chance to visit, rather than waiting for the flames of oblivion to get them off their tails and force them to accept our invitation. The residential quarters may not be up to the necessary standards just yet, but there are plenty of other places worth seeing. You've already had a look around the Curatorium, but wait until you see what's waiting for you at the east end of the burrow. Follow me! I'd have tried to stop him, but he wasn't listening.
And we need to go down, so, let's go ahead
We
and
need to go down?
The arrow says down!
So it does. Okay, time to get my ether scrambled again. At least I'm not paying for the privilege.
Oh, look! Side quest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and two blues.
Gotta keep an eye on those. If you're not careful, those side quests will breed like rabbits.
Don't you mean loprets?
That too. All fun and games. Playful Operate has a new game to play.
Greetings! I'm the Loperet in charge of children's romping gowns. I expect there will be quite a challenge keeping up with the children of Aetheris entertained with limited space and supplies, but I dare say I'm up to it. In fact, I recently came up with a new game that requires no props nor preparation. It's called The Loperets Never Stopper It, named pending Living Way's approval. Care to give it a go? I knew you would. Now, the game is very simple. You only need to count the Loperets hopping this way and that, or probably no way, before the time's up. I have the perfect place picked out. Follow me to the Curatorium.
Oh dear. I want to check. So that's an 84 quest still. Shift down for side quests.
Recording Way.
A strange new moon. Recording Way needs to gather more data.
Curses! Insufficient data after everything I've done! You! Living Way told me about you. You wouldn't mind lending me a hand? As you know, we Loperets only awakened recently, and while we were sleeping, Mare Lamatorium has undergone a number of bewildering changes, one of these being the appearance of a strange walking fungi. Thinkers, I think we call them. The elegant vessel crashed here many, many years ago, you see, and part of it pierced its way through the wall to our underground bioplant. I believe these spores from within eventually made their way to the surface of the moon, where they went on and mutated and evolved in our absence. I mean to study these curious new life forms. Boko's having none of it. Rift is not far behind.
Crashed Allegan vessel, that was enough for Boko.
Yeah. I mean, to study these curious new life forms, but I need more data before I can draw any real conclusions. Would you be willing to retrieve a sample of fungal filaments for me? Yeah.
That would be a no.
That would be a very big no. Or it's like fungal filaments. Nope. Yes, a single sample would be more than sufficient. If I remember my cultural studies correctly, you will expect some form of payment in exchange for your services rendered, yes? Bring that filament and I will see that you are duly compensated. Duly compensated. I like those words. So the Alligans actually made it all the way to the moon. Doesn't surprise me, really, but...
Yep. Well, we saw the ship.
Mm-hmm. Vacillating Loperate.
Clues maketh the man. Vacillating Loperate is in need of help.
Oh, it's you. Oh, if it's not too much trouble, I really could use your help. We've been making clothes for your people, but after speaking with Livingway, I realized we've made a grave mistake. Considerable alterations must be made to our plans. I was hoping you might join me to speak with the Loperate in charge of garment adjustments. Thank you! They're not going to be happy about this.
So off to Taylor Way? Operate Taylor?
And that, of course, is up. I don't know where the teleporter is. Ah, there it is. By the gemstone trader. I thought this was the teleporter. I guess I was wrong. Different teleporter, maybe?
Pretty much.
Maybe it's that teleporter over there. Yep, there's the teleporter. Because that's a lot of stairs. Yeah, Urza would like to fly in here. It would make life so much easier. There's our little opera. Vacillating? I'm telling you, we're doing it all wrong. We have to fix these clothes before it's too late. How are we supposed to resize everything when we don't even know what to base their alterations on? Hi. I can help. I'm actually an accomplished tailor. Oh, you must be the model then. I see. You really are like a baby carrot. I am not a baby carrot. Though that does sound delicious. Perhaps an explanation is in order. You see, we'd like to help to redefine the style of clothing we create. We believe comfort and familiarity are keys to accommodating people of Atreus, which is why we thought masks and all-purpose robes would suffice.
Oh dear.
When Livingway claimed the fashion trends of Atreus are far more removed from what we thought we were anticipating, I was incredulous. But meeting you made everything plainly clear. Indeed, now I see our plans won't do. Garments are so variable and unique.
Vibrant. Though, yeah, these are hardly vibrant.
We still need to decide what adjustments to make, so would you please stay a while? Oh, I suppose. Thank you. Now do be a dear and strike a pose for me, will you? I want to get an idea of how the fabric moves with you.
Should I be switching to Red Mage for this?
Nah, I think you're fine.
I'm not sure I want the entire world to be dressed like Guardian scholars.
Be better than the robes they tried to stick us in.
Well...
Yes, just like that. I see. May I ask you why you chose to wear this outfit? The last one! I'm not going to say it, but, not sure what I was thinking, to be honest. I don't like how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Why else would I be a warrior in a long jacket? So people find designs they like aesthetically pleasing. I'll have to bear that in mind when I redesign our concepts. Might I see your battle stance decks? If the people of Rylea have need to fight, I'd like to be certain that their clothes strike fear in the hearts of their enemies. Oh god, he's making me be stance as a warrior. Okay, everyone, I apologize up front. Yeah, that was the most un-Thayrin thing ever. Yes, I do believe I have a solid grasp of what our designs are lacking before. Truly, I never realized that one's choices of attire could make such an impression. Oh, you got something different?
No, I wasn't. I'd gotten deselected.
Oops.
There we go.
Tell me when you got to such an impression.
Yep.
And that ensemble quite befits your personality, I must say. I like to think so. Which means we can't just throw some garb on everyone. What's that you're saying? Yes. Variety is the spice of life. You have given me so many new ideas, I can hardly wait to get started. In fact, I can't wait at all. Zoom!
Mm-hmm.
Right then. Would you care to follow me back to my station? Yeah, the warrior bee stance and the warrior victory are like so not Thayrin. It's sad. Painfully sad. I mean, a lot of their bee stance and stuff, or battle stance and victory pose is actually kind of nice, but yeah, so not Thayrin. I do believe I do believe that we have a much better idea of what we should be making now, and the necessary of alteration should provide little trouble. Just you wait. Someday soon, the people of Athreus will be clamoring for the last fashions from Bestways Borough. Assuming
That'll be the day.
Assuming I get back to work, that is. Thank you for your help.
Good luck. You're gonna need it.
Indeed.
Zoom!
Now, about those other quests. Yeah, for a long time, I was like, Thayrin's not really a warrior, but this is the tank I like the most. I literally spent, like, what, 3 expansions waffling on warrior tank, but not finding any of the other tanks working either. Until I finally was like, I give up. Thayrin's warrior. That's just the way it is. But then again, Thayrin now has all 80s, and at that point, Maine? What is this weird concept of which you speak? Actually, we want to talk to this person over here.
Yes.
Save the blues for last.
Getting to know you. The inquisitive Loperate is eager to learn about people.
I knew I'd find one of you eventually. Can I talk with you? I have so many things I wish to ask you.
Okay, the bit with ears was great.
We have learned so much thanks to you and your collaborators on Athreus, but it has come clear that there's a great deal they neglected to mention. Your stunted growth, for example. Rather than...
Didn't they provide any standard medical textbooks that give, like, average height and weight?
Probably not. These are scholars, let's be honest. They kind of get blinders on to what they like to see and kind of ignore everything else.
Yeah, scholars and scientists.
Yes. Rather than speculate on the crucial details we may have overlooked, we're hoping you can clarify a few things, if that's all right. Thank you so much. One of my fellow Loperates are sure to have burning questions of their own. So if you could wait a moment here, I'll go fetch them. Oh god, it's going to be one of these.
Yeah. Cannot be skipped.
You may wish to
cancel any pending duty finder registrations. Now there's a danger word.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Okay, you three, what do you have for me? Now then, shall we get started?
Stoic nod.
First, we'd like to ask you about typical methods of stress relief.
Primal scream therapy.
Tends to work for me. We have read that, when thrust into new and otherwise unfamiliar environment, people of Etheria can become quite stressed. Should the worst come to worst and we're forced to relocate here to the moon, well... We're considering a number of contingencies based on what we've read, but being a native of Athreus yourself, we're quite curious to know how you prefer to relieve stress. Okay, our 3 choices are exercise always helps me to relax. I usually sleep my troubles away, and breaking the bones of my enemies is quite therapeutic. Actually, the
It's not
problem
wrong.
is none of them are wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
I usually sleep my troubles away. Cat naps.
exercise always helps me to relax. Exercise, you say? Fascinating. I don't believe we have the facilities quite suited for exercise, but fear not. It's nothing a little renovation can fix.
Interesting. Perhaps we should consider creating sleep-inducing carrots to help people relax.
That was certainly entertaining, thank you. We'll make a paradise out of this moon yet. Just you wait and see. I do have a rather pertinent question. What do you people do for recreation? We have pored over every book provided to us from cover to cover, but the answer yet eludes us.
Yeah, you asked the wrong people that question.
Yeah. As such, we're quite certain what few ideas we have for entertainment are waiting for inspiration. So tell us, what do you enjoy? Eating always raises my spirits. Travel and exploration of unknown can be quite exhilarating. The carnage of battle makes my heart sing. I think it's going to be the middle one.
Yes, it is.
Oh, good. There are myriad places to visit on the moon aside from Mare Lamatorum, and they all look more or less the same, though. I think I have a better idea of what needs to be done next. Thank you!
You're going to renovate the entire surface of the moon. Wonderful.
One last question, if I may, and perhaps the most important we could ask of you. Do you like carrots?
Uh-oh. Particularly?
Not particularly. I don't dislike carrots. Oh! I'm sure you'll change your mind once you've tried one of our carrots of happiness. I think that covers everything. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we weren't more helpful. That was awfully nice of you taking time to answer our questions. It was more than helpful than you know. Every word of what you said here is in my notes. I plan to share it with everyone. Mark my words, we'll transform the moon into a marvel unlike anything you've ever seen. You go, little Opera.
I'm worried that might actually be true.
I am worried about the shards, though. I don't want to leave them to their fate. Oh, look, a fate!
Indeed. Give me a moment here.
Well, that was a fumble finger. Come on. Man, I've got everybody's attention.
Well, you're a tank.
Thank you. Glad you noticed.
Ow.
Ow?
They kind of ran me over when they left.
Sorry about that.
They're kind of
Oh dear,
fine.
what are they scheming now? And they're off.
Yes.
Probably to the next fate, but yeah. Sparkling eyes lower up.
Over the rainbow crystal. The sparkling-eyed Loperette has rainbows on their mind.
Goodness, my apologies. I was rather preoccupied thinking about rainbow crystals. Beautiful, aren't they? Their elemental energies is what makes it possible for people to survive here on the moon. From the air we breathe to the gravity that keeps us haphazardly floating about, it's all thanks to these crystals. Aha! Thank you. I'm glad I can breathe on the moon. Really.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering about that.
They require regular maintenance to maintain equilibrium, though, and that's where you come in. Or that's where I come in. If you were mind to see how it's done, I could use an extra set of paws, or hands, as your kind seems to insist on calling them. My friends will take care of the care of more delicate work, so all you need to do is bring a few aspected crystals. How about it? I think I can manage that. It's so nice to know the people from Athres take an interest in their own ability to breathe. Now,
I take a great deal of interest in that.
now we need to get started. Our lightning and wind aspected aether crystals, one each. You can find them at their respective sparkling supply stations. Once you have them, you'll want to deliver the lightning aspected crystal to the shrine observers to the north, and they're in charge of the shinies, you know. The wind aspected crystal should go to Hopping Way near the entrance. I'll handle the fire and water aspected crystals, so you need to simply report to me once the crystals are distributed. I think I can handle that. I like breathing. What does the map say? The map says we go this way.
Actually, hold on a moment. 122 west.
Well, we're going west. Go west, young Urza! Quack?
There it is. Nope, back the way you were facing and look up.
Not seeing it, but I'll take your word for it. Come on, Urza, you can do it! You can do it!
Yeah, basically get up to the top, do a U-turn, and proceed.
Ah, there it is. Good spot, kitten.
Helps when you know what you're looking for and where you're looking. .285 northwest. Yeah, not so much.
Hello, playful Loper. You said you had a child's game for us? Do you see the carrot station over there? When you're ready, see if you can count how many Loperets are sneaking about.
Inspect the designated location to begin counting Loperets. You'll have 30 seconds to complete the task, after which you may give your answer to the playful Loperet. Okay.
So, you think you count them right? How many leopards did you see? I believe there were 4.
That's what I saw.
Oh, so close. How about giving it one more try? Really?
There must have been 5. There's 3. I only saw 3 until the very end, and then I definitely saw 4.
You can just talk to him again and give him an answer.
Yeah.
We have a winner! Too easy, you say? Well, that's no fun if it's too hard. And you did have fun, didn't you? Wait, hold that thought. Our time here is nearly up, and the structure is more important for productive play. Can you tell me all the fun you've had while returning from Bestway's Burrow instead? Hello, Ace. Yeah, we're on the moon,
Here?
and all we have to eat is carrots.
Just yet. Dinner will probably be about half an hour to 35 minutes.
Will do, dear. Trying to avoid the support and caretakers. It's probably up on this platform. Where are the stairs? There's the stairs. The very big stairs.
Yes.
Welcome back,
Supply
Pig!
station.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the engineers are collaborating with the scientists. You can hear the mad, gleeful going on in the background. And there's the lightning crystals, which are kind of squarish. That doesn't seem right for lightning, but okay. Whatever you say.
Yeah. I was wondering about these shapes earlier. Of course, maybe they quarried them from somewhere. God
Well, you
awful,
can-
maybe.
You can grow lightning shards and stuff, so why not full crystals? Oh god, I hope those aren't the garden patches for them.
Mm-mm.
There's a fate here if we want to take part. It's probably a gathering fate is my
Sure.
bet. From
Falling
Falling Way. Ooh, maybe not. Well, good news. I've successfully increased the super carrot output to 260%. The bad news is it's gone haywire. Mind shutting it down for me?
Super carrot.
That's the name of the bot.
Extermination mode activated. Weaklings must perish.
Oh gosh. What did you do?
I'll drop. Lebus Lemon Torum, crazy contraption. And a surprise no Lepore who knows him, Falling Way is betrayed by his greatest creation and now enlists your aid in silencing the malfunctioning miscreant.
Yeah, they're engineers.
Super carrot output exceeding limits. Warning. Shiro, you got here a little late.
Sorry. Whew, that was far too close.
Hey, this has provided me with invaluable data. My next order business is cranking the output up to 300%.
Wait, that robot
I nearly killed you.
That's your takeaway.
Yeah, this is a chain.
There he is. Excuse me, I've got some crystals for you.
Giant supervisor.
Hello there. I don't suppose you've come to deliver the lightning aspected crystal? One lightning aspected crystal.
Crystal infused with lightning aspected aether, courtesy of the Keratium.
Curatorium.
Thank you, I was trying to remember.
You have! Well then, stand back. I'll have this rainbow crystal sparkling like new in no time. So that's 3 of the 6 we need to get the writing speed increase.
Yeah.
Eh?
Eh?
No, we don't want to play with you.
Not sure to feed. Or, yeah, actually.
No, that's just the combat music here.
Let's see.
Oh, sorry, wrong
Yeah,
one.
we have 3 of the findables.
Hello, Hoppingway. It's you. You're here, which can only mean you have a crystal for me. Yes, we do. Yep, that's the one I needed. Thank you. Do we want to turn in the others or pick up the blues now?
At least this one, since we're here.
Well, the next one is like right behind us.
Ah. True Carrot Crimes. Watching Way has a mystery in want of solving.
Excuse me, sir. Have you by any chance seen any thieves prowling about with ill-gotten iron carrots? They're crisp, tender, surprisingly heavy, and carrots, that is, not the thieves.
It might be surprisingly heavy once they eat the carrots.
If you haven't seen them yet, I'm sure you will. We've been told you adventurers are quite good at solving crimes that no one else can be bothered with. Neck muscles sculpted by a lifetime of nodding. Wonderful. I'm relying on you to solve our carrot caper. Honestly, what manner of fiend would deny the Loprits their dinner? Anyway, our culprits took 4 carrots in all. Those are not easy to carry about, and I dare say they can't have gotten far. Carrot thieves. You know, it was probably just another Loprit who was super hungry.
Yes.
Yawning Way.
Carrots. It's what's for dinner. Yawning Way needs help gathering the Curatorium's Loprits for mealtime.
Oh, bother. There's no sign of them, and it's almost time to eat. You there. If you happen to head to the Curatorium, could you let my fellows know it's mealtime? If we don't eat, I can't take my nap. Many thanks. They should be running at the mention of carrots of happiness, so just say those 3 magic words and they'll be on their way.
There's something to be said for that.
Yes, it's a say command.
That too.
Ah, but what about second breakfast? And lemon seeds.
Carrot seeds.
Carrot seeds. You're back. I take it everything went according to plan? Then Mayor Lamatorian is safe for another day. This part of it anyway, though there is one thing I still wish the crystals could provide us. Rain! Oh, how I long to see the shimmering dream shots that fall so freely on Atreus. It's in my dreams. One day I'll expand the capabilities of these rainbow crystals so we can do just that. Who knows, perhaps we'll need a parasol next time you visit.
No, please, don't put yourself out. That's not necessary.
Ah, but until then, I promise I'll keep the moon in tip-top condition. We do live here, after all.
I'm starting to run out of inventory again.
Yeah. A retainer bell would be nice.
That would help, but it can't solve the problem of all these equipment chests.
Oh dear. Sorry, Mr. Support Bot.
It's 11.
Are we done now? I think we're done.
Pretty much.
Ah, there's the stairs. Hey there, Mr. Hungry Lollipet. Lollipet. Take the square root of the
Lollipet,
roots
no.
and you get...
With the chat mode and say, yeah, carrot of happiness.
Did I mistype? Yes, I mistyped that. Dang it! Carrot of happiness, you say? My, isn't that time already? I was working out the projections for optimal carrot production based on the total population of Atreus to ensure that... Oh, never mind. I must make haste or I'll miss out on seconds.
How many of those giant carrots do they have at a sitting?
All of them?
I'm afraid of that.
Oh, my whiskers. A visit from Atreus. What do I do? What do I say? And have you brought any snacks?
I haven't brought any snacks, but...
Could that mean? Yes! It must be time to eat at last! Oh, how I've waited for this moment. There's nothing like a carrot of happiness to fill the void in one's belly and soul.
Oh dear. Whopper cuisine seems to be a touch single-minded.
You think? But you have to admit, those carrots of happiness were actually pretty good.
Yes.
if not a little big. Oh, is it on the other? Yeah, it's on the other platform. Dang it. Sorry, Urza.
Work. No drooling on the carrots.
Oh, carrot, my carrot, the prize we sought is won. What? They're serving carrots of happiness today?
And tomorrow. And next week. Probably next month.
The deep, luscious orange, that tempting, slender silhouette. Wait for me, my darlings. I'm coming for you. I would not call your carrots slender. Oh, no, 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 no.
They're most certainly not slender tenders.
No, they are not. We need to search for the iron carrots. Oh, look, there's one. I think they dropped it. It's been nibbled on. Oh, there's another one. Maybe it goes this way. Nope. There's a lot of
Philosopher's carrots.
Actually, I think we start this way and then move around to that.
Well, yeah.
Nibbled iron carrot. This scrumptious looking iron carrot has been tragically abandoned in its prime. You're gonna be a bother. Sorry, I'll reassemble you later.
And the second one's the same. Yep.
Philosopher's carrot.
Based on the primer you but recently received, you can say with relative certainty that iron carrots are not blue.
Yeah. Muttering lollipop. These philosopher carrots really hit the spot. Just a few more. What? What? No, of course not. I'm not stealing. These are mine. Is it so wrong to enjoy an early dinner?
Muttering Operator stomps off in search of a place to eat in peace. You suspect this is not your carrot culprit.
So we follow the trail of nibbled iron carrots, which would this way. Mixing way. If I mix...
There's a good plant. Grow up nice and strong for me, alright?
If I mix this carrot with that one, and then... But wait, perhaps mixing with this one would be better. Oh, confound it. I was planning on mixing... With what again? You need to, like, chart out your garden diagram. Trust me, it helps. That's what I have to do every time I make,
Onions.
Onions. They kind of went off. this way, but I didn't see any... Oh, not you again. Why don't you stay unreassembled, please, and thank you? Where do we go from here? It's not up there. That not out of bounds?
Where I'm going, no.
Well, I guess you're not. Watch out for the caretaker there.
Ah, here's another iron carrot.
And I'm probably going to get another supporter here. Yep. Oh, and the caretaker. Thanks, guys.
No problem. Not a problem.
Big problem. Nothing my axe can't fix, so. Are we done now? Ah, it's a nibbled iron carrot.
Ah.
What are you doing, Mr. Supporter?
Flip. Insufficient stock of iron carrots. Iron carrot detected. Initiating iron carrot procurement.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think it did nibble on them. Maybe? Okay.
You need to work on your mammoth programming. Big time. Watching way? You're back. Please tell me you found the carrots. They're kind of nibbled on. The supporter? I never would have suspected. It's supposed to help us farm carrots, not eat them. I recall the technician saying something about enhancing its code with a love for carrots to increase work efficiency. But to go so far as to steal carrots for itself, I fear it may now love them a little too much. Alas, those poor carrots. But at least we know what's become of them and how to prevent this from happening again. Thank you for your assistance.
Really, guys?
And ding!
Nice.
A witch?
Boy, you wear that around here too much, they're really going to come up with some odd ideas about fashion.
Hey, I look good in this. It's very summonery. Ain't that right, Toby? Yes, who's a good Toby?
Treat?
Yes, you get a Toby treat. Here. Have a Toby treat. Ah, you've returned. And everyone else is accounted for. Sustenance is essential for us Loprots, though. I suppose people are the same.
Yes.
In any case, we extend a lot of our effort to raising a whole variety of carrots. Carrots of happiness are a new cultivar that are particularly comforting, though. It seems almost silly to have all the workers consume so many carrots just so that we can produce more carrots. But that's the problem we can be solved with even more carrots. Now, No need to worry about the details. I'll work the figures out just as... What were we talking about? You go take a nap. And we have one outside in the mare. As soon as we figure out how to get out of here.
We gotta get out of this place.
Oh, there is a fate behind us. Should be really close to what we need. Need 3
Oh, no.
more.
Is Falling Way and Warring Way again.
Yes, Warring Way. Falling Way's tinkering is well known among us Lolopets. Unfortunately for every experiment that bears fruit, another one backfails spectacularly. Could you spare a moment? You see, I was tinkering with some of the mechanical devices, and they are got a bit boisterous. Mind dismantling them for me? Dismantling is what I do best.
These have been illegally modified. Libus Lamentorum, Cleaner Catastrophe. Falling Way tempted fate by haphazardly modifying some of the boosted cleaners, and now he finds himself paying the price in the form of deadly contraptions running amok.
Yeah, I'm really liking New Summoner.
Is it as good as Old Summoner?
Mixed.
Okay.
There's things that are better about it, there are things that are worse. Ain't that right, Bahamut? That means we only need 2 more. Oh dear, where are you scheming now? And they're off.
Again.
From the top, with feeling. And now we need to go all the way to the top for the... No, I think it's below. Yay! We don't have to go all the way to the top. That's a heck of a stair climb without flight. Hello, Nothing Way. He's got nothing for us.
This is true.
Hello, playful Lopera. Now, tell me what you think. I'm confident the children would like it, and it cuts back on the equipment costs and so I see no downsides. So, I want to hear your honest opinion. How was it? I've actually played this before. Except with Namazu.
Yeah.
You do have rooms for Namazu here, right? What? And here I thought I'd come up with something new and exciting idea. I'll have to improve on it to make it something truly unique. Thank you for taking your time to play with me. If I come up with a new game, I'll be sure to seek your expert opinion. I spy with my little eye something that begins with C.
Great.
Nope.
Carrots?
Yes!
Right. I'm just frightened with where my thoughts have been going because, if they want help with, entertaining the children and everything, they should talk to the fairies, and I don't think they should talk to the fairies.
You mean the pixies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could end badly.
Yeah. Hello, goodest boy. We'll be back with you in a few. Yes, I know where I'm going. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Poor Talon.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. You're really sick of this.
I don't blame you.
bet.
Oh look, another fate. Don't know if we can get there in time, but it's a deliver quest.
Yep.
So if we get 10, we should be okay.
What
Oh
a
look,
thrill.
moose!
Acidic. Thrilling Way has asked for assistance in collecting slime left behind by acidic moose. Surely there isn't any ulterior motive behind this request, right?
I really hope not.
Well, given the name.
Let's see, what am I currently up to? 8 pots. And someone did a big turn in.
Yep.
But it has not triggered yet.
Nope. Probably take care of this wave and then do our turn in. That looks like it hurts.
Yeah, where's Rift?
Sleeping on the job?
Trying to pull out.
Yeah.
You've got a couple on you.
Yep.
Oh man, they are all on you.
They slimed me. Okay. Go turn in. Haha! Funky slime must be mine. Wait, is that moose slime I've been after? Moose slime, a sticky and highly corrosive substance secreted by acidic moose, though apparently not quite corrosive enough to melt your hands when you scooped it up.
That's a good thing, right?
This is the blissfully slimy sensation I've been dreaming of. Although, I'll need more if I'm to soak my entire fluffy body in it. Really? Just a little more. A little more moose slime is all I require. Won't you collect some for me?
No, I think we're done with moose slimes.
Let's go think about this. Come on. Up the slope.
Okay, fine. Ah, there's our thinkers.
Like I said, we need to go think about it. Hooray! Return home and bathe in gooey bliss! You scare me.
As right they should. Okay, that was... Okay,
yeah, we just
did
needed one fungal filament.
Yeah. However... I think it was over here. There's gotta be a story behind this. But first, air current. Because it's here.
45 in, morning for dinner.
Dinner shall be soon.
Yay!
With the way the servers have been going, if we log out at 9 to go over to the buns, we should be on by 9:30.
Okay.
Hope and pray.
And tomorrow shall be maintenance.
See. Hello, Argos. We'll be with you in a minute. You just chill there, goodest boy. But yeah, checking ether currents. We've only discovered 4.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we do not have the entire zone uncovered, so...
Nope. We've got fair chunks left.
Recording way. I was starting to wonder if the Thinkers had done you in. Were you able to retrieve a sample? One sample, made to order.
Fungal filament, a sampling of filament taken from a sentient fungi found on the moon.
Excellent. I'll get to work analyzing this right away. Why the structure of this filament is altogether different from the fungi grown in the biosphere? Perhaps the stores mixed with substances leaked from the Allegan ship? Chimera-induced fluid, perhaps? In any case, this isn't good. Any and all potential threats must be eliminated if we're to make the moon fit for inhabitation. You have helped with the most important discovery, and for that you have my thanks. Here, your reward, as promised. Thank you. Woohoo!
2 slots.
So dinner is getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
And now, that looks like all the side quests. Okay, Growing Way, what do you got for us? Though we should probably change back.
All right.
Growing Way's you.
Oh, right. Good, you're here. Through this door is Greatest Inn's Vale. It was named as such because it's the veil to end all veils. The most beautiful forest you'll ever see.
I don't know, I've seen some really pretty forests.
Given their knowledge of such things, I will be happy enough if it looks better than Armvale.
Low bar!
Yeah. But given the clothing, yeah, I'm putting my expectations at the right place. We understand the people of Etheris enjoy taking leisurely walks through natural spaces and the like, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it. How about we start with a nice stroll through to the fountain? This way.
I'm trying not to get my hopes up. They mean well. They're trying to help.
Big rumbling airlock doors do not natural spaces make.
Reading Way. Suppose these need overhaul now that the specifications have changed. Don't you just love books? I absolutely adore them. They've taught me so much. Don't tell anyone, but they also taste delicious. Don't eat the books! Grinding Way. Do the floors look clean to you? I don't know. I feel like they could use a little more polishing. Right. Oh man, something's smelling good.
It has been for a while.
Yeah,
The Black Shroud, this isn't.
No. No, it is not.
But it looks better and healthier than Armvale.
Low bar!
I told you, I calibrated my expectations properly.
They're trying. They're very trying.
Yes.
Now, if these all serve a secondary function and they're just beautifying them, that's acceptable. But this is what you get when you try and create an entire environment for someone and all you've done is read books about them.
Up. Oh, okay, right, this slope.
And that is indeed a fountain.
Better?
Not sure about the cleaners, though.
Yeah, well.
Oh, just a second.
Make sure the water's clean.
This is probably my missing hole that I've been looking for. Hello, Action!
Mm-hmm.
Dinner time!
Ooh, dinner. Just a second, I want to see what fish are in this hole.
There's more slime.
A
outta
star
here.
blue guppy.
What, it's not a carrot fish?
And it... Wow. A terribly small freshwater fish with a color reminiscent of a certain star. Mm-hmm. Oh, there was one in the logs that was even worse.
Oh.
Yes. Food is ready. Food for all.
Where is it? Oh, it's in the... Yeah, fever fish. Within the aerochemical pools that it calls home, this bizarre wavekin consumes toxic substances like they were going out of style.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Let's go have dinner.
yeah, we're going to take a break. I'm going to go ahead and pause the stream.
Yeah, for one thing, I might need to do some inventory maintenance.
And we will be back after dinner as we continue with our fishing adventures.
Wait, what? Put that down. It's time for dinner.
So, we will be back in a few.
Alright, enjoy.
Okay, I'm back for good or for ill. Mostly
Welcome
fishing
back.
until Rye gets back. I swear, fishing is going to be my first 90.
I'm gonna try running a dungeon after my parents go to sleep, because they may be putting stress on the network.
Yeah, I know when I was up visiting my mom, she was hissing like you wouldn't believe over Dish Network.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if she asked us to come up and like rewire the house for internet and cable. I mean, it's usually something Dave would do since Dad wasn't able to towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, key. Thank you. Yeah, towards the end, Dad was... We could tell Dad was not doing... and was definitely slowing down because things that he would normally maintain that he'd just do without telling anybody, because that's how Dad kind of functioned, it wasn't getting done.
Mm-hmm.
Like the road getting re-graveled to go up. My parents have a very long driveway that's a private driveway, and it's a graveled driveway, and normally that works fine when it's properly maintained, and it wasn't. And that's going to be something. Apparently the woodpeckers had decided that the cowling around our fireplace was the perfect place to store acorns.
Oh.
So the entire backside of the house looks like grated Swiss cheese.
Ooh.
and acorns. Acorns were everywhere. So much so it was bulging out the wood and it was spewing out the side. It's like, this needs to be fixed, and this is not going to be cheap. Excuse me. But it's little things like that. The house Mom and Dad have is a big house on a very large chunk of property. And I don't think my mom's up for maintaining something that big. I don't know what the future's gonna hold. All I want is for her to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why the place is so big is that my folks ran their own business, and my brother has since taken it over, but he doesn't live on site. He has his own house about a mile or two away, but the business is still on the property.
Mm.
So he'll actually come by every day to take care of the business. And then they also have like a granny cottage that they rent out.
We're used to.
No, it was occupied when we were up there.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it hadn't been occupied for a while.
No, the granny cottage was always occupied. It's the downstairs bonus room that isn't. They were originally setting it up to rent out, but I just don't feel right having strangers renting that out and just my mom there at night.
Yeah, the Grand Cottage is occupied because Jonathan, who's the husband who lives there, actually came up to the front door and basically offered his condolences to Julie.
Okay,
Yeah.
Now, I knew it had been at one point. I thought they had stopped that some years ago.
No.
Never gotten someone new in.
They've gone through several renters there. Unfortunately, one of them they had to effectively evict because he had not paid in like a year and was not getting a job in that time. It's like, we can't... It's not like we aren't sympathetic to your situation. It's that we need that income to make sure we can pay the property taxes for this place, or else we lose it. So, but they had an elderly lady there for a long time. She ended up moving into an assisted living facility.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a couple, and they apparently have a couple puppies that Dave was slowly learning to bribe.
I should do something about my inventory. You do realize we are on air?
Yes, I put this on air a little while ago.
Okay. I am down to 2 slots, and I'm going to have a hard time doing anything about this.
Well, do you have any food you want to hand me? Because I've got some stacks I could probably absorb it.
Yeah.
And you never use food, so...
Well, at least not enough.
Not unless I remind you.
Yeah.
Though I'm not exactly the poster child for eating the food in my bags. Yeah, I can totally take that one. Yep, I can take that one too.
Actually, well.
Sorry.
But let me go. I've got things that, need to go up on auction and so on.
Yeah, there's just nothing around here.
Yeah, a lack of proper facilities on the moon. Who would have thought?
I'm sorry, Growing Way. We'll have to get back to you.
In a couple.
Well, first off, because we are on the moon, I'm dang we're going to use a priority Aetheryte pass.
Yep. It's either that or, return to get myself down to ground
And this is with an aetheryte press, and it's still almost 900 gil.
Yeah. And that's the subsidized gold saucer report. Yeah.
Yeah. The subsidized gold saucer port, and yeah. Zing! Well, at least there's a bell here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give all these equipment to my retainer. Oh, they've all completed their ventures. Why is Kitten grumpy?
Unable to commence cutscene.
Ooh. Hadn't seen
Mayada
that.
finally showed up on the third try.
Hadn't seen that message in a while.
I've been getting it a bunch lately. Okay, that gives me a little room to work with.
Okay. Off to sea to collect my consolation prizes. Because it being Gold Saucer, you know we never win anything.
Pretty much.
Consolation. Consolation. And fourth prize.
Very good.
Yay! I are winners! And what does Mini Catclot get me tonight? Actually, I'm going to pop one of my Gold Saucer VIP cards. Because I got spares, I might as well use them.
Hmm.
Oh. great. Now I have to do math in my head. No, that would be a bad choice of numbers. Let's go this way. Take a chance. Oh, that would be better than the other choice, so guess that's not too bad. Yeah, I'll take an 8. Thank you. Ooh, it's gonna bait me, isn't it?
Yes.
400, that's not too bad. Not the best in the world, but hey, we'll take it. It's better than poke in the eye, that's for sure.
Oh boy.
Trying to figure out what to get rid of.
And how to pack things away, yes.
Okay, I am pretty much done. Well, as done as I'm gonna get anyway. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm taking
There you
that
go.
one.
You do this.
Unfortunately, they moved the safe spot again, and I haven't figured out the new one.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the original that has a safe spot.
I'm gonna choose the safe spot here and see how it works. I have no clue. I'm probably going to get pumped out horribly. One of the few original events left. It's pretty much this and cliffhangers. All the others that originally came out with Gold Saucer have been replaced. Decide you wanted to come along? Thought you wanted to do more gearing.
I do. Inventory is in horrible shape, but is about as good as it gets, short of handing you a couple things.
Ah, okay. So after this, we'll head back to the moon.
No, I still need to do everything else here.
Fair enough.
I have partially dealt with inventory. That's all I've had time to do. Phoenix Bright.
Yes. Bye-bye!
Well, I made it through the first one. And 2. I did not catch the guy right in the center with that.
Three.
Uh-oh.
I'm still in. I'm still in.
Oh, okay. When you said the bye, I thought you'd gotten kicked out on the first one.
I'm still here. I actually made it. Woohoo!
Oh, very good. Yeah, I just needed to perk a little bit further inside, and I would have made that that second to last one. Something to remember.
Okay, so
Consolation.
you're heading to the boards? Yeah.
Consolation.
Get back into my MSQ suit.
They don't seem very consoled.
Oh, did I buy my new tickets? I don't think I did. No, I had not. So, thanks. That would have been embarrassing.
Don't go too far when you're done.
Okay. Where are you gonna hand me this time?
Borscht.
More borscht.
And
You had two
something for Mutamix.
And you had 2 stacks of borscht.
No, I did not hand you borscht last time.
Oh, you're right. You had me glory bee soup.
Yes. Okay, front desk. 'Cause among other things, I do have a card.
Make sure you don't have that card already. Or make sure you have that card already.
A, yes, I do. B, you can tell as you turn in. Because they will tell you if you have it.
If your reading competency is up to snuff.
Yep, in deck. It's a 2-star card. I have it.
Okay.
I'm not even sure where the blue dragon card comes from.
That comes from Brayflock's Longstop.
Yeah. See?
That's right.
That's right, you did that recently on Ninja.
Mm-hmm. Nope. No. No? Decent. Right then.
Hopefully not too shabby of winnings.
Eh. 2 poor and 1 decent. Right. Okay.
Okay, back to the moon.
To the moon!
To the moon! Ah, hark, I hear the sound of crafting ringing out in the night.
And not frustrated crafting.
Not yet. I wish them well, fellow crafter.
Well, there's been no bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, they make you work for crafting. We have an umbral wind.
Mm-hmm.
as the weather.
Indeed.
Greatest in Vale.
Hold on a moment. I don't think you stopped by Learning Way earlier.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to miss you, Learning Way.
You kind of went down the center one.
Oh, what a pleasure it is to actually meet you. I've read so much about you. And there's a fight going on.
Mm-hmm. Drifting dynamite.
And I am in the wrong job for this.
You're fine.
No, I'm not. Rip's nowhere to be seen.
Hi, Tay. Come to join us for a few minutes?
Might as well. Can't really do much else.
That is a lot of AoE. Hey, Boko, you're gonna need to do slightly better.
This is a little hectic.
Yeah, Boko, really, I mean it. You need to do better.
Sorry, I'm not in tanking shoes. Come on,
You just want to know where
target the
Boko's
right
healing
one.
shoes are. Levis Lemontorum, Dynamite Disaster. Oh no, it's the same pair, of course. Warring Way warns of approaching danger. A pack of drifting dynamite has infiltrated the haven. He asks for your help in defusing the situation before those bombs blow the burrow to bits.
Silly bunnies. I hope you weren't injured. The data is precisely what I needed. Oh dear.
Says that every time.
Come quickly, there's much work to be done. Wait, where are you going? Oh, we can fly in Garland Mold. Or at least I can. You're probably just
Yes.
short.
No.
Oh,
No.
we were able to get that?
We opened up flying in Garlemald. Pretty sure
Okay.
we did.
I didn't think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
we're
sure you
only
guys
at-
did.
4 and 5. Woohoo.
Yeah. This one has a ways to go.
Yeah, these trees need help.
At least they didn't try constructing the water.
That would be bad. Okay, Growing Way. I hate to say it, but your forest needs work.
You're not growing very much.
This one's you.
Ah. So, what did you think of the forest? Isn't it positively pleasant? Simply sublime? I couldn't see the forest or the trees.
I didn't see any. Wait, You don't mean those crystals out there that are...
Tis as transcendent as burying your face in a chocobo's plumage and taking a good long whiff. No.
No. Ooh. What
Which
to
one
answer?
do you want? I'll take the other one that, of the first two.
I didn't see any... Wait, you don't mean those crystals out there are...
Yeah, that's right. Leave the snark to me. I couldn't see the forest or the trees.
Right you are! Our forest is made of crystals and constructs, dotting the landscape as far as the eye can see.
You're pulling my tail. You're in the forest right now. Building this place was a challenge, let me
That's
tell
the
you.
same. Oh, sure, this is your guy anyway. What am I doing?
Meh.
Sorry.
Let me tell you. Since we were born here, we've never seen trees in person before, let alone a forest. The information sent by our collaborators was quite enlightening, but after much deliberation, we decided to use crystalline constructs in place of living trees. And thanks to our atmospheric circulation system, this place produces air as clean as that you'd find in a forest on Etheris. Probably cleaner, which might be a problem. The fountain here behind us, powered by the rather large crystal adorning its top, plays a vital role in supplying us with fresh water. Much time and effort was spent making it the most spherical of spheres, and I dare say the unparalleled roundness speaks for itself.
It is indeed round.
Yeah, you have no idea what organic means. I enjoy nothing more than a nice long stretch and a spot of relaxation. Whenever I come up here, you look like you could do with a stretch yourself.
Do a nice big stretch near Growing Way.
Yes. And once again, you phone it in.
Oh, that wasn't a bad stretch.
That's the spirit. I feel more relaxed simply watching you. A sight worth the many years spent building this place. If it's not too much to ask, it's always been a dream of mine to take a walk through this forest with someone from Etheris. Could we maybe...
Oh, I suppose we can humor him.
You will? Oh, be still my quivering whiskers. Growing Way is now accompanying you. Poof.
And off we go.
This is a really steep slope, you know.
Yeah, we should not be able to walk up it, but, yeah. Physics. Game physics. We'll do this deal.
Well, it is the moon. Lower gravity.
I don't know. I jump about the same. If it was lower gravity, my jumps would be more uber.
Nothing like a relaxing stroll to forget one's worries, eh?
Yes.
I was thinking that I could be more helpful to you by teaching you a little about the moon and what it is we do. When we were first created, the moon's sole purpose was to hold Zodiark, and there is absolutely nothing to be found here. Eventually, Eidolon gave us our first task: furnish the moon with propulsion systems capable of facilitating travel to other stars. It sounds impressive, and I suppose in some respects it is, but it was only possible thanks to all the knowledge Eidolon shared with us. We also had a lot of time to get it done. 6,000 years, give or take. But anyway, let's keep going. I still worry that this propulsion system is still a bit O8 rocket.
As long as it's not runs on fireworks. Ooh, there's a Talking circle over here.
Green tiles instead of grass.
Ask if you can taste the rainbow crystal.
What? No! I'm not sure what it is you do with crystals on Aetheris, but we don't eat them, and certainly not this one. It's possessed of all 6 elements: wind, lightning, fire, earth, ice, and water. We use crystals like these to maintain the moon's elemental equilibrium. It's worth mentioning, though, that because of Heidelin's influence, being the embodiment of tranquility and stasis and all, manipulating the elements here is different than it might be on Aetheris. Conjuring a fire would sooner dry your clothes than singe them, for example. Put simply, the etheric conditions are ill-suited to growth, which is why the surface is mostly barren. Of course, this was all necessary to keep the raging energies of Zodiark in check.
I think someone on the translation team has been eating their Skittles.
This may come as a surprise, but we didn't begin building the habitable areas until after the propulsion systems were ready. Considering how long it took, I wish we'd started sooner. Who would have thought we'd need 4,000 years to make all this? Certainly wasn't work you dare rush, either. We had to create infrastructure and countless supporting systems, some of which wouldn't be operational until hundreds of years later. And then there was that brief period where our productivity came to a screeching halt, and that bizarre red satellite was sent up from Aetheris. All against mischief, I think. We thought maybe some new nefarious actor was colluding with Zodiark. All we could do was stand by and brace ourselves for the worst. I can't tell you how relieved we were when Heidelin informed us of his destruction. Oh yes, there was much joyous humming that day. It might have been joyous for you, not so much for us.
Yeah, it was not a good time. Don't see any other extra talking circles, Val.
No. Say, do you notice anything peculiar about the treetops? I mean, apart from the fact that they're massive crystals and not trees? I'll give you a hint. It's the golden rings emanating from the glowing spheres. Along with the device fixed near the ceiling, they fulfill a role similar to our sun, and do so better even. The sun and similar celestial objects in the great expanse radiate energy that is harmful to your bodies. These rings shield you from that energy while allowing you to bathe in the perfect amount of sunlight, or rather a close approximation of it.
Well, that will be needed if we are to leave the star, unfortunately.
Pretty impressive, wouldn't you say? Oh, and if you look closely, you'll see different types of trees have ever so slightly different curvature. Yes, indeed. This first truly is the greatest. Yeah. They mean well. They're trying to help.
Checking what's growing away again. Okay, same as before.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to build the perfect environment, but,
Off of very, very incomplete information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you get when when you contact the Charleans to get your information.
That too, but just what Heidelin provided didn't help either.
Well, yeah, that was also very outdated information.
There's something else I wanted to tell you about. Oh, right. The propulsion systems and habitat facilities were completed around 2,000 years ago, and with that, the most important features were fit for purpose. Which was all well and good, except we still knew absolutely nothing about the present-day people of Aetherius. Why not go and visit Aetherius yourself, you might ask? Strictly forbidden. Were our technology and knowledge of the moon's true purpose exploited for evil ends, results could be disastrous. Then there were a few more rejoinings, and it became increasingly difficult to converse with Hydaelyn. Fearful we might lose the ability to communicate with her altogether, we beseeched her to find people on Aetherius we could trust to help. We're quite fortunate everything worked out as it did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all coming together.
You know, most forests don't have highways either.
This isn't a highway.
Yes,
This
it is.
simply a walking path.
No, and it's a pathway that is elevated amongst everything else. That makes it a highway. That's where the word comes from.
Guys? Could you
Go.
get off Growing Way, please? Good enough. Stupid burbs.
With the expectation of routine inspections and maintenance, or the exception of routine inspections and maintenance, we remained asleep and waited, hopeful Hydaelyn would find someone who would help us. Eventually she did, and though her power was waning, we were able to speak to them directly for a short while. We shared with them everything we could, including our knowledge of the heavens and a means to travel here to the moon. They certainly didn't waste any time with what we taught them. No more than a few years after that, our collaborators found the means to convey messages and supplies to us from down below. With all the letters, books, and other resources they sent, we learned enough to start making more meaningful changes to the moon. And now you're here, hopefully enjoying yourself as much as I am. I knew you would like greatest to Ensvale. I know it. Thank you again for coming here, by the way. I know it was just a walk through the forest, but it meant a lot to me.
It's okay, little guy. There you are.
I take it you've already received the Grand Tour. A shame we missed it.
Growing Way, I've been looking all over for you.
Oh, is this about the teleporter to the residential area?
No, never mind that. We have more pressing matters at hand. I will be calling an emergency meeting shortly, and your attendance is required.
Really? I can't imagine why you'd need me there, but if you insist.
We won't be away long, so you are more than welcome to continue looking about the burrow. Come along, Growing Way. Before we arrived, you seemed to be in the midst of a rousing conversation with your guide. Did you learn anything of import? Oh,
Much.
Lord howdy. Oh, and here's some speculations, too.
They've spent 12,000 years preparing for this. With the appointed hour fast approaching, I can certainly understand their restlessness, but still.
It remains to be seen if these people can be persuaded to evacuate when there are no signs of the final days. What's more, the technology of this place defies imagination. I doubt there are many who could readily come to terms with living in such surroundings.
Whoever these collaborators are, unless they are possessed of the world's most charming personalities, or a means to forcibly evacuate people, they will meet with a great deal of resistance.
Indeed, even if faced with annihilation, the decision to forsake all one knows cannot be made lightly.
Forgive me, friends, but I must beg your leave. There is another matter which yet begs for mine attention. Of course, we can accompany you if you like. Nay, that will not be necessary, if you will excuse me.
They wouldn't let me teach the rainbow. Thayrin?
Huh. What do you suppose has suddenly tickled his fancy?
He has his own ways. Let him be about it. 'Tis clear that now the difficult decisions lie ahead of us. Preparation for the evacuation of Athreus is indeed crucial, but I am not yet willing to forsake our world and its reflections. I trust I'm not alone in my reticence. No, you are not.
It's nice to have a backup plan no matter how incomplete it may end up being. But it's the backup plan.
The final days will make brave fools of us all. Ooh, and it's moon dust weather.
Right. Back to old tricks. By now, Thayrin can tell when his friends are up to something. Did Urianger seem strange to you? More so than usual, I mean. I know he has a penchant for keeping his own counsel, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. Would you go and see if he's alright? Ishtal and I will remain here and see what else we can learn about the final days. If you hurry, perhaps you can catch up with him.
Urianger puts more effort into concealing his clandestine endeavors. Or perhaps he's civilly given up on trying to hide it, knowing we'll find out eventually. In any case, that he acts with good intentions is plain. Please give him the benefit of the doubt. Oh, yeah, we've already
He
figured
has lots
that.
of benefit of not much doubt. Better for only one of us to go, in case it's a delicate matter. Hopefully I'm overthinking things.
Possibly. Where is he hiding?
He's not being quite as foolish as during post Heaven's Word, but yeah.
I'm just glad that their collaborators have not sent them the recipe for Argon bread.
For all we know, they did. But since there were no carrots involved, they probably ignored it.
Actually, are there carrots involved in Argon bread?
No.
I have that recipe. I'm looking it up. Yes, 2 purple carrots.
Oh, maybe they just figured it was a waste of good carrots.
Dark
Which it
white
is.
flour, 2 purple carrots, mist spinach, and 1 northern herring.
Oh my god, it's a baked version of lutefisk.
Yes.
There must be something to be done about this. Come to think, now think.
Moping way. There are truly more of your kind coming? I'd rather not be doing all this work for nothing, you know. You know,
Hard to say.
it's a backup plan. You should actually be glad you're doing all this work for nothing. Because if it means we're actually using the work, things have gone very, very, very badly.
Well, from their point of view, it's not the backup plan. It was the backup plan up until Zodiark was destroyed. About the only one who I think is even broached the idea of maybe a fix could still be done even though the ancients couldn't figure out what the problem was is the Watcher.
Yeah. Oh, here's our destination. And Rift, I need you to stay right here.
Ariane appears to be heading towards the entrance to Bestway's burrow. Well, duh. Yes, Foxfire, exactly. We're not going to waste perfectly good carrots on Archon Loaf.
I am so grateful for the last stand.
Wow, that is a steep ramp. Not quite 45 degrees, but darn close. Ariane ventures off into Mare Lamentorum for reasons unknown. You must tread carefully, or else he might sense your presence.
Oh no, it's another sneaking mission!
Yeah, and you realize Ariane probably knows somebody's following him. He should know us as well as we know him. Objective.
My bet is this boulder over here.
Hi, Argos. Never mind the chocobo failing to hide behind the rock.
He takes off running.
As far over as I thought I was, for one thing.
Ignored the spear tip. You see no spear tip? Aha!
That'll be a while.
Uh-oh, did you fail?
Yes.
Oh.
Thine arrival is timely as ever.
Switching to your screen.
Meow. I apparently didn't move close enough to this boulder.
Hide there. Hide there. Okay. Don't worry about hiding, just put the ramp.
You did it.
And of course he's waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
Thou didst chance to overhear my conversation with Livingway, I presume?
A little. It was by accident, but yeah, you know how this works.
'Twas not mine intent to move in shadow. Nevertheless, I have been asked to do that and more yet again. Is it so plain that these strangers could intuit it at a glance? My capacity for silence and secrecy?
You don't have that much
Duplicity.
capacity for duplicity. I'm sorry.
And Grahatir did contrive to deliver the first at the price of his own life. I was complicit in the scheme. A sacrifice averted for a mercy. Would that I could say the same for Menphilia. One life for one world. And by that bloody bargain brokered by my hand were the scions robbed of a dear comrade, and Flamine her beloved daughter. Two souls, whose selflessness was beyond measure, whose resolve was unshakable. They would not be moved even had I thought to protest. But protest I did not. Far from it. I pushed them forward. No effort did I make to seek out alternatives, ones that would not demand such terrible costs. That resignation weigheth heavy on my mind, as does the memory of another lost to mine inaction. Dearest Moonbringer, who did face death unflinching, that we might secure a means to bring low the Ascians. In her hour of need, I did naught. Dutiful disciple of Louisoix, ever looking to the greater good. Had I shut mine eyes and bid her live instead, mayhap she would be with us today. Selfish wants born of everlasting regrets. Most days I put them from my mind, but could think of naught else when asked to swallow the same bitter draught. Subterfuge and sacrifice. Mayhap the right moral choice, but one I regard with great trepidation.
As you should.
The calamity of Amarot was a tragedy beyond reckoning, one which must never again come to pass. Thus must we struggle, haunted by ghosts of those we have lost, clinging to those we pray we can yet save. But what of those we cannot? How do we make peace with the dreadful algebra of necessity?
Have faith in yourself and your decisions.
Yeah.
Take heart and protect well those you can.
I agree on that one.
Sage counsel indeed. see. Wisdom as befits a great worm. Curious that he should think thee in need of such encouragement. Strange. Scarcely can I remember when last we spoke alone, and so candidly. I thank thee. For all my supposed skill with words, I find it difficult to express such private thoughts. As for the Loporrit's proposition, I will take time and consider how to respond. 'Twould be to our mutual benefit if we could converse more openly with our aspiring caretakers. A concern I should be glad to address on the Scion's behalf.
You do that.
To dispense with all pretense and bare one's heart to another is a frightening thing indeed. But we cannot move forward ere we take that bold first step. A lesson I have learned many times before. And today.
What are they saying? Curse these ears and her barrel!
What are they
No
up to?
matter. We've got our plans.
Ariane, I know you're disheartened by this, but it is a good backup plan. But I agree there must be another way. Let's find it. But keep this as a backup in our pocket. We might need it. Rift, get out my camera.
Work. In truth, my reason for traveling hither was to effect a plan of mine own. A plan which may pave a way forward for us all.
That's the Ariane I was expecting.
May, I say, for there is no guarantee of success. 'Tis the reason I set out alone. That failure, should it come, would be mine to bear alone.
No, you don't get to do that.
Yet thou standest before me with proffered hand and open heart. 'Twould be remiss of me to refuse thy amity, and so I ask, wouldst thou join in mine endeavor? Yeah, sure. After this gear coffer.
Actually, it is 9:06. Do we want to take a break and see if we can travel over to the Buns? Actually, first
We'd
off...
better.
Hold on a sec. Checking with the local guild populace on what the
Queue looks like.
queue looks like.
I actually managed to get in fairly quick because
That's a good sign.
Okay.
I got kicked again.
Looking at 72, so that's what, about 15 minutes?
If that.
If that much.
So we can actually follow this just a little longer.
I would prefer not to take the chance.
Well, let's at least get to a rest area.
Yes, that's part of it.
We'll catch you back here probably Tuesday, or Anjay.
You'll be fine here, right? Here, have a carrot of happiness. It'll tide you over.
Gotta love those carrots of happiness.
Work, work.
Yeah, sorry, Anjay. You know our luck at being at the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what we do.
We'd do even better if we would just stop letting the bad guys monologue.
Yeah. I really wanted to punch Van Daniel in the face. It would have solved a lot of problems. He's sitting there monologuing, suddenly he has a glass jaw and missing a few teeth. Yeah, that would have worked. There would have been holy retribution afterwards, but I would have felt better. Funny how that works. Hello, Wobbling Way. So we will call our mains here for now. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back in half an hour on the buttons. Knock on wood. Be safe till then.